Kelly. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I am a second grade teacher who teaches in California. Today is Tuesday, it's now November. And it's funny because last week I kept saying it was November and now I'm saying it's October again. Today is Tuesday, November 6th. It is election day. I already voted. I voted by mail this year, made things so much easier. It was just such a nice, non-stressful way to vote. I highly recommend it. So, but despite the fact that I voted and got that out of the way, it has been a fairly stressful day today. It's now lunchtime. It's just been stressful from the very beginning. First thing that happened is I walked into the classroom, or I walked out of the classroom to pick up the kids, and there's this black bag on my ramp in front of my room. So I was like, well, I'll deal with that when I come back. And I bring the kids back, expecting one of the kids to take the bag. None of them then. So I picked them up. I'm like, what is this? And then one kid said, oh, it's mine. I brought that from home. And I look inside and, all right, I looked inside and inside is this. These are all the books that he has borrowed from my library from since the beginning of the year, taken home and not brought back. And I have the worst organization system when it comes to the library. I just let the kids take it. I put numbers on the books so they know where to put it back, but I don't keep track of who takes what. So I had no idea I was missing so many books. So I'm really thankful he brought them back, but I couldn't believe how many books there were. I was just amazed. So there was that. Then we get started during the day. The very beginning of the morning was fine. We went a little bit over on silent reading. I was absent on Friday, so they didn't get a chance to take tests on Friday, so a lot of them were still testing and we ran over. Sent the books, it's library today, sent the books over. We do phonics, we're learning contractions this week, and they're really good at putting the contractions together. Where they're not quite sure is when they have a contraction and they have to figure out what the two words are. That's where they struggle. So I need to look for some resources to help me teach them that, because that's important skill when it comes to phonics, or when it comes to contractions and knowing what those contractions are. And then we did vocabulary, then we got to comprehension, and we're doing fact and opinion. And I struggle with fact and opinion. It's so hard. The kids, no matter how many times you explain what fact and opinion is, I go over, opinion are going to have adjectives describing words. They're what you think and feel. Facts you can prove, you can look up, and we go into that. Well, first off, I lost my poster. I know I had it. I showed it to you last week on my plan with me. I have no clue where it is. So that stressed me out. So then we're already behind. So we're going through, we read the page. There's one fact and one opinion on it. So we go through together, and I explain which is the fact and which is the opinion and why. And I made a quick T-chart and we wrote those down. Then I had them turn the page, and there was another page. There's one fact and one opinion. So I read the page a couple of times to them, and I remind them what a fact and opinion is. And then I say, okay, what's the opinion or what's the fact? And immediately a girl raises her hand, or I pulled the stick. I don't remember which one. And the girl chose the opinion for the fact, and it was something like, see, jellyfish are slimy and disgusting. So she said, that's the fact. I'm like, okay, so that's the opinion because, and I launch into this huge explanation. We can't prove disgusting. Who knows who Freddy Krueger is? Some people may think he's disgusting. Other people may think he's awesome, or he's good looking, or he's this or that. So we go through it. I'm talking about it. I write it on the opinion side of the chart. I said, okay, now there's a fact. Now remember, there are two sentences on this page. Two. There's a fact on this page. What's the fact? I pull a stick. Jellyfish are slimy and disgusting. I said, no, that's the opinion. And I pointed out, I said, we just spent 5 minutes explaining why that's an opinion. Remember, it's because the word disgusting and slimy. And I go into the whole explanation again. And they still struggled to find the one fact. We finally found it. And then we turn the page and we read that page, and there are no opinions on that page. So I asked them, are there any opinions on this page? And they're not sure. And then finally they decided no, that there's not. I'm like, yes, that's right, they're not, because, and I explain why, and there's, everything on this page can be proven. So I said, okay, let's find a fact. So by this time the bell's rung, so they are all wanting to leave, but I'm making them stay because I want to get that one fact in. And it still took like 3 minutes for somebody to tell me what a fact on that page was. I'm like, there's nothing but facts on this page. It should go like that. So that raised my stress level a little bit. We get through the recess. I had a behavior issue that I had to deal with, so that always raises my stress. We come back, we do our math fluency test, and then we go over to the library. And I'm telling the librarian about the big pile of books that I found, and my kids are in, there's 2 rooms in our library, the kids are in their other room, and they're talking at the top of their lungs about something. So I go in there and I tell them, that's not how we act in the library, you whisper and hit this room, and I go through that whole thing. Then we decided, so next week we don't have library because the book fair is held in the library, so we're having the book fair in there, and then the week after that is Thanksgiving break. So I tell them, the librarian said, can we check out 4 books? I'm like, that's great. So you're going to get 2 AR books that are fiction, 1 AR book that's nonfiction, and then you can get a fun book. Yay! Okay, and had to explain a few times what a fun book is, and yes, it can be any level, and yes, it can be below your level, and yes, it can be a book that you've already read, and yes, it can be above your level, yes, it can be below your level, yes, it can be above your level. So I'm explaining. It was chaos. They were so excited. They could not hold it together. And I kept reminding them, I kept doing waterfall, shh, ah, waterfall, shh. I just flat out said, you are not allowed to talk anymore. You are in this room. There is absolutely no talking. And that was the last 10 minutes. And they did good with the no talking, but I was so frustrated at them. We got in line, and again, they're yelling and shouting, and I walked them back to the class, and I lectured them. I have not been this frustrated with the class or had to talk to a class like this in a very long time. My last year's class was a dream. The year before that was pretty easy, and I told them, I said, I'm so disappointed in you. I tried to do something nice and you took advantage. You were disrespectful to me. You were disrespectful to the librarian. I can't believe you acted like that. I've been looking forward to all year letting you have fun books and going. So it put a damper on my day. Yeah, it's just, they're a very, very young class. They just don't know how to hold it together in certain situations. So I got them calmed down. I told them next time they saw the librarian, I said, you better apologize. And when I say apologize, I'm not saying you just say I'm sorry. You need to tell them what you're sorry for. I am sorry for the way I acted in the library. And I even told them, I said, there was not one person who was doing what they were supposed to. All of you are, I didn't say complicit, but all of you were not doing what you were supposed to do. I was so frustrated. So I ate lunch, I laid down for a little bit just to kind of calm down and just relax. And yeah, so we're doing math. We're doing an activity where there's 3-digit numbers and there are cut and paste little alligator mouths, and they have to glue it going the right way. So hopefully they'll have fun. If they get too loud, I'm going to just call a halt. There's a workbook page that we can do, and just do that and do the not fun version. And I'm going to tell them that too. I said, if you're too loud or you're not doing your work, we are not going to do this activity. We're just going to do the homework page in our math book. So I'm trying to get through the rest of the day. My stress is already up. Actually, I'm doing pretty good. It's report cards. We had a week to do report cards. I wasn't able to start last week because the plan was I was doing our last language arts test on Friday, or language arts quiz on Friday, and I was going to grade them, and I was going to have those grades. Well, because I was absent Friday, I wasn't able to get that test, and I wasn't able to get started with the grades over the weekend because I had nothing, because it was an unexpected absence. But I got all but one single student's grade entered yesterday. I was able to finish fluency testing. I was able to get most of their writing samples. And I had redone their writing samples because so many kids didn't understand what it was to be proud. They would write stories. I remember a time, have you ever been proud? I've been proud. I'm on a basketball team. And then proceeded to write a story describing exactly how practices go. So it wasn't about how they were proud. So, and that was a few kids were just not getting it. So I switched the topic to a time that they did something fun. I had one student who said, I've never done anything fun. And I was like, your Halloween wasn't fun, your birthday wasn't fun. And then she proceeded to write me a beautiful story, a wonderful, awesome, just out of the park, brilliant story about her birthday. So, that little struggle at the beginning was, worth it to get that story from her. So I just have one student who needs to finish that up. I am going to have him stay in a little bit during recess to work on it, because he had an hour to work yesterday and he's got one sentence written, and I don't trust that he's going to get it done tomorrow, so he's going to stay in 10 minutes. So that's what we're going to do. And then, I'm just hoping to get through the rest of the day. And then after school today, work on more report cards. All I have to do is the comments. So I have today and tomorrow to get those done, and tomorrow's early release. So I'm in good shape. But it's still stressful. So I'm going to go pick up the kids, and then we're going to do math. And I will catch up with you probably after school. Bye. Hey, everyone. It is now Tuesday the 7th. It's not Tuesday, it's Wednesday. I can't even keep my days straight. It's Wednesday the 7th. I didn't get a chance to vlog after school yesterday because I was working on report cards, and once I was done, I just wanted to get out of there. I had to go to the store. Today has been both rough and good. It's rough because my allergies are acting up and I am sneezing my head off every 2 seconds, and that's triggering a headache, and my nose is running like crazy, and I'm just miserable. And I finally got to the point where I was like, I have to take something, and I had some stuff in my bag, and I went to take it, and I didn't have my water bottle, and I had left my water bottle in my car, which meant that I also hadn't been drinking water all day, which was not good. So I have my water bottle, I took something for my nose, I took something for my head, and the rest of the day is going to be good. So we had a lot of fun this morning in language arts. We did our contraction surgery, where I gave them words that could form contractions. I gave them a little book, which I already put my little book away, so I don't have it to show you. I gave them a little book, and then we cut apart the words. We cut the parts of the words that we didn't need for the contraction, and then we glued it into the book, and then where the apostrophe went, we put Band-Aids, and we put apostrophes on that. So it went really well. I went all out this year. I got them face masks to wear, like this. I had the Band-Aids. I had little, hello, my name is Doctor, and then I wrote their last name. I did buy gloves as well, but I misread. I thought there were 10 pairs of gloves per pack, and there are only 10 gloves, so I was going to be short. And I was like, well, I guess I could have them wear one glove. But I decided, you know what, it's just, we'll skip the gloves. So they were disappointed about that because I was handing them out when I realized my mistake. But it went really well. They did good doing the cutting and the surgery part. There was a few things like, cannot. A lot of them forgot to take out the second N, or have not. They weren't quite sure what letters to take out. But overall, they did an excellent job. They wrote what it was. They had a lot of fun. It did take the whole period, but that's okay because I wanted them to get really good at doing those contractions. So we came back in. ELD was canceled because we had another split class and another second grade teacher was out. So it's Wednesday, which is Lexia Day, which is where the 10 kids go to compete intervention in another room. So I had my students, I just signed up for Prodigy, which is a math website that's free for teachers, and I've heard about it before, and I just decided to go ahead and give it a try. So I had my kids work on Prodigy because we started yesterday, but a lot of them didn't finish the placement test, so I had them working on that today. And then we came back and we did our pre-test for comparing numbers, and then I had them play a game. They got in partners, and they got 3 dice, and they rolled the dice, and they built the number, and then they had to say whose was the bigger number, their partners or theirs, by using the symbols. So they had a lot of fun with that. When we come back, we're going to do grammar. So we're doing, I believe, verbs in the future tense today. And then since we are done with writing, everybody got their writing done, and I have grades on all of them. And we didn't get a chance to do fact and opinion. We're doing our fact and opinion cut and paste this afternoon. Hopefully, it's just such a hard skill. It's such a hard skill for them. I don't know. I don't know if maybe they're not developmentally ready, because it's like no matter what I say, about what a fact and opinion is. Well, there's a fly. They just don't seem to understand it, and it's just so frustrating. But we're doing that, and then I actually pulled out for tomorrow and Friday a Veterans Day activity, and that Veterans Day activity also has a cut and paste sort for fact and opinion on Veterans Day things. So we'll get another dose of fact and opinion. And then on Friday, we're also doing fact and opinion with jellies, where we're doing a craft this time, where we're going to look through the book. We're going to find 2 facts and 2 opinions and write them on these tentacles. And then after we're done with that, they're going to get a paper plate, and they're going to decorate half a paper plate as a jellyfish, and then we're going to staple the tentacles onto that. So we're really hitting fact and opinion hard for all that. I'm not sure it's our standard, but it is. Next week we're taking our benchmark test, and it is on the test. They have like 2 or 3 questions on fact and opinion, so I want them to at least be as clear as they can on it. And so that's the plan. I will try to catch up with you after school again, and I will see you later. Bye.
All right, I'm back. I made it to the end of the day. We got through everything that I had planned. We did our lesson on verbs in the future tense. We did vocabulary, which I completely forgot we needed to do, so we did that. And then we went ahead and we did the fact and opinion sort, which went a lot better than it did yesterday. They seemed to understand it a lot more. Individually, I had some students who, well, we did most of it together, so I had some students who weren't paying attention or weren't reading, and were just putting things in the wrong place, or they weren't following directions, so they cut everything out, and then they weren't able to figure out what card that we were doing at what time. And then I had them do the last 4 fact and opinion cards by themselves, and most of them were able to sort. Though what threw them was one of them said that jellyfish in the sea are elegant, and they didn't know what elegant was. And then one of the students said, well, Ms. Y, is elegant just a fancy word for pretty? I was like, yes it is. So then she knew, and then she started telling everyone, oh, it's a fancy word for pretty. Pretty is an opinion word. So they were able to get it from that, and I latched on to that definition, and I used it with the rest of the kids. So I've just been finishing up my report cards. They are done. I'm so glad. So the way I do report cards is I have all my grades in my grade book. I go in and I enter them by the standard, and so I get all my reading standards for literature, and I enter them for every student. And then I do the same thing for informational text, and then math standards. I just go through and I enter, so it's really quickly. Then I go through and I fill in the ones that we haven't done, so we put in NA for anything that we haven't taught. After I do that, I do the behavior standards. So I go through each student, I think about their behavior, I look at my records, I look at who's gotten infractions, who hasn't, and I fill those in. And then after I'm done filling in the grades, that usually takes me 1 day. It takes me maybe about 45 minutes to an hour to get them all in, depending on how well I have things aggregated already, or disaggregated. I don't know which word it is. Depending, sometimes I have to go through and average all the grades out and then enter it in. Sometimes I'm able to just look if there's only 1 grade, so I'm able to take it from that grade. And then the next 2 days I spend on comments. And for comments, I start with my positives, what is great about the student, and there's great about every student. Then I go into their AR reading level. If it's low, I give some suggestions about what parents can do to help them. Although I keep the comments, I don't get into too much detail, just because we do have conferences with every single parent, and that's what I'm going to talk about during parent conferences, so I don't write it all out, because that's just kind of overkill. But I do throw in 1 or 2 suggestions. I tell where the students are, what level they are on their math timed test that we take every day, and then if they're not where they're supposed to be, I usually say something like, I recommend you get subtraction or addition flashcards and practice them every night. And then I try to sum up with a positive, or thank the parents for their help, or remind them that I can't do this without them. So that's how I do report cards. It usually takes me 2 days. I do half the comments on 1 day, half the comments on another day, and then I'm done. So I am done with the report cards. So what I'm gonna, and I finished them really quickly too, so I was able to do my lesson planning for next week. And then
what I'm going to do probably tomorrow after I make copies, and then over the weekend is I'm going to go through and I'm going to, I don't know, Maylene over at Mrs. Call's Campers did a freebie for conferences where it has your students' strengths, it has what they need to work on, and then a space that you can fill in what happens during the conference notes, and then you have the parents sign them. So she gave that out for free on Teachers Pay Teachers. So I think I'm going to use them. I'm not entirely sure. We'll see how much time I have tomorrow. We see how much motivation I have over the weekend. Like I said, I've not been feeling well today. I think it's allergies. I jokingly, because I was fine when I was outside, and I came back into the classroom and I started sneezing my head off again. So I said to the kids, maybe I'm allergic to kids. And they're like, what? Why? And I was like, no, I'm kidding. But I don't know. I don't know if it's my room. I don't know what it is, but I mean, I was stuffed up last night, but nothing like I was today. I don't think I'm sick, but you know, if I'm not feeling great, I just want to take this weekend to just kick back and relax before conferences. And conferences do start Friday too, which I mean, I think I have 6 or 7 conferences on Friday, so I would have to do 6 or 7 of those papers tomorrow. They shouldn't take too long because I've mostly got what's positive about each student and what they need to work on. So we'll see if I do them or if I save them for next trimester or our spring conferences when I meet, just because I'll have more time. You know, it's just been a crunch this week getting everything done. But I feel awful, so I'm going to go home. I think I'm going to end the blog here because I think shorter blogs might be better for right now, especially since I didn't do much. But it's so funny. I'm looking at the mask. I had kids that left today wearing their masks, and they're coming up to me. It's like, I'm going to give this to my mom because she's been sneezing a lot and I think she needs it. And they were so cute. I'm so glad I got the masks. I wish I'd been able to get the gloves too. But they had so much fun doing that activity that we do contractions again later in the year. It's one of the last. It's either, if it's not the last unit, it's the second to last unit. It's the story of the mysterious tadpole. I think I'll go ahead and do contraction surgery again. There was a ton of words. I only used 6. So I'll get 6 more words and we'll do it again just because it was so much fun and they enjoyed it so much. And I think they really started to get contractions a lot from that. So that is my blog. Thank you so much for watching. Please leave a comment below, hit like, hit subscribe to see more content, and have a wonderful day.